So, this is my third time to film this video. The first time I filmed it was out of focus. The second time, which I just did, it filmed, I got up and to turn the camera off and it said card full. And I checked to see how much of the video it had got in before the card was too full. And it was almost 7 minutes of the video and I was like, yes! So I put it on my computer to see how the rest of what I needed to film. And the angle was completely wrong and my head was like cut off. So I probably could have still worked with that, but it was awkward and it looked unintentional. Like sometimes, you know, people only like talking about books today. So, you know, maybe it would have been intentional, but it wasn't intentional. So anyway. So, I'm going to talk about a few of the books that are on my to-be read list for the rest of this month, into June, maybe into July. I've got 4 books and I might add in some as the weeks go on and I think of a book that I actually want to read instead of one of these. I don't know. But 2 of these I've actually already started and then the other 2 I have not yet. So the first book, Invisible Man. Second, A Little Life. Third, The Ocean at the End of the Lane. And the fourth, I have it downloaded as an audiobook on Audible, East of Eden. So I'm really stoked on my book list. So The Invisible Man, which is the one I started a couple months ago actually, and then I put it down and never picked it back up to read. First published in 1952 and immediately hailed as a masterpiece, Invisible Man is one of those rare novels that have changed the shape of American literature. For not only does Ralph Ellison's nightmare journey across the racial divide tell unparalleled truths about the nature of bigotry and its effects on the minds of both victims and perpetrators, it gives us an entirely new model of what a novel can be. So, excited to read this. A Little Life is next. I've heard this is a really good book, but also really heartbreaking. So A Little Life follows 4 college classmates, broke adrift and buoyed only by their friendship and ambition as they moved to New York in search of fame and fortune. While their relationships, which are tinged by addiction, success, and pride, deepen over the decades, the men are held together by their devotion to the brilliant and enigmatic Jude, a man scarred by unspeakable childhood trauma. So, I'm happy to read this. I did see another booktuber read it though, and she was like so sad reading it, but she said it was really good. So here's the next one, The Ocean at the End of the Lane. This is probably the one I'll start on, or I might read a couple of these at the same time. I love this physical book. I saw it in the bookstore and I thought it was so beautiful, and then I ended up getting it as a birthday gift. So I like it because it's illustrated and the pages are really nice and glossy. It's not that long of a book. There's not a lot of words on the pages, and it's full of illustrations too. So like sometimes a page, like there won't be writing on both pages. So it's actually a pretty short book, but and I had heard of it before, but this cover drew me in and I was like, oh, this story sounds like so interesting. I like the quote on the back. It says, "Memories were waiting at the edges of things, beckoning to me." And this quote at the beginning of the book, I remember my own childhood vividly. I knew terrible things, but I knew I mustn't let adults know I knew. It would scare them. That's Maurice Sendak in conversation with Art Spiegelman from the New Yorker on September 27th, 1993. So, cool quote, pretty book, cool illustrations, just very nice. This is what he remembers as he sits by the ocean at the end of the lane. A dead man on the back seat of the car, and warm milk at the farmhouse. An ancient little girl and an old woman who saw the moon being made. A beautiful housekeeper with a monstrous smile, and dark forces woken that were best left undisturbed. They are memories hard to believe, waiting at the edges of things, the recollections of a man who thought he was lost but is now perhaps remembering a time when he was saved. So, this is good so far. I'm not too far in, but anyway. Next we have East of Eden, which I'm excited to read this book too. I think it's gonna be interesting. I don't really know a lot about what it's about, but one of my friends liked it and I like remembered that somehow, and so I downloaded it on Audible. This sprawling and often brutal novel set in California follows the intertwined destinies of two families, the Trasks and the Hamiltons, whose generations helplessly reenact the fall of Adam and Eve and the poisonous rivalry of Cain and Abel. So it's always interesting when a book or a poem or something reflect that of another literary work, in this case the Bible. So I think that this is going to be an interesting read. Audiobooks are not my favorite thing ever, but when I'm doing stuff I like to listen to something, and I usually listen to podcasts or music, so I can listen to that when I'm doing dishes or cleaning my room or something. So those are the books that I'm going to be trying to read over the next few weeks. Hopefully going to be finishing all 4 of these by the end of July. If you have any book suggestions, please feel free to leave them in the comments. I read and like to read just about anything. I also like nonfiction books as well, so feel free to leave any suggestions in the comments. I'm always adding stuff to my Goodreads, and I love watching people's book list of what they are wanting to read for the week or the month or something like that. So please feel free to offer your suggestions. Again, always looking for new books, even though I have plenty that I haven't read that I need to read, but we all know how tempting it is to buy a book and add it to the stack of books that have yet to be read. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Please leave a comment with a suggestion and like, and please feel free to subscribe if you are enjoying my content. And I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you for joining me for Medium today, and I'll see you again tomorrow.